C.J. Stroud is now in a position to get a contract extension. Where are you on that front, Nick?
Yeah, I mentioned this in kind of my introductory press conference there in training camp. I'd say, we've had some productive discussions over the course of the spring here. I think CJ, his first 3 years, he's done a really good job for us. D'Amico and I both talked about this. We're glad he's our quarterback. And we understand there's a business side of football. So I'd say we're working through that. But, overall, like I said, we've had productive conversations with his representatives. So my sense is we'll work through it here during the course of training camp. And if an agreement comes to fruition, great. If it doesn't, we kind of understand where we are moving forward. But, CJ's, I've said this on some different shows, but he had his best off season. I'd say he's having one of his better training camps as well. And I think you're seeing a growth and a maturation and development of a player, which you see throughout the course of their career. So, sometimes we lose track of, in his particular case, he's still a young player. He's played 3 seasons going into his 4th season, but every year you kind of start over. And, we're working through training camp right now, but overall, CJ's done everything that we've asked him to do. There's a business component of this, and that's something that, that's part of, in the end, my responsibility and my job. And, we'll work through it here and see what happens here moving forward.
Okay, so is this something that could go into the season, do you think, or no?
We'll see. I don't want to put any timetables
Sure.
or kind of speculate about what may happen, when it might happen. I'd say, we'll keep the dialogue moving. And at some point, if we get to a situation where, all right, it's not going to resolve itself, then, we push it out to, the off season or after the season. So, we'll work through it, kind of take it one day at a time. And, we'll see if we're able to reach an agreement here at some point.
Year 4 for you. Let's just jump into the question of the day is Daniel Jones. How's he doing? What can you tell me?
He's doing great. He did a hell of a job this offseason with his rehab, getting his body right, and obviously coming off the Achilles. He was tirelessly working at it, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. every day, and he's hit the ground running since training camp started. He's taken every first team rep. It's great to have him back out there. He's still working through the strength stuff, but he's in a really good place right now for our football team in this season.
Well, you had a front row seat when you were in Philly of watching him for the Giants when obviously he was out there, and you might have been prepping your side of the football to get back out there, but you saw what was going on in New York. What do you think clicked for him last year? What do you think, Cliff?
It's a good question. I think, watching his tape, I always thought he was a really, really good player. He always completed passes, a high completion percentage in New York. Obviously was, a game away from going to an NFC championship game in New York. So you saw that, he had it in him. Coming here, obviously a new scenery for him. He took the bull by the horns and worked his tail off. And obviously he made a ton of plays. The offensive line did a great job protecting for him. Did a great job getting us in and out of the right plays. And he was playing, just tremendous for us before his injury.
So now that he's coming back, and that'll be the question, is can he do it again? And that is I guess a legit question, because again, that time where he almost made it the NFC Championship game, Philadelphia is the one that prevented him from getting there. After he had that performance in Minnesota, Shane, I was talking about from here at this desk, he looked like Colin Kaepernick in Green Bay. You know what I mean? Like that, where he was running it and throwing it and totally unstoppable. With Saquon at his side, obviously back in that day.
Yeah, that was an awesome game.
Is that the guy you have there? Is that the guy you have there? Do you think?
Yeah, for sure. I think so. When you watch him last year, what he was able to do for us, and obviously we want to get that done again this year. And obviously the health of our football team is going to be big. Keeping him healthy all season is going to be big. And then we go from there. But I really like, what I've seen so far, him coming off his injury. Offense is clicking early in camp, which is great to see. It's been great on both sides of the ball. Defense is making plays. Offense is making plays. So I'm really pleased, where we're at in training camp with our football team.
Well, we had a chance to talk to Jason Light today, and he said, I am not trading Vita Vea. So while they're getting a lot of phone calls about him and other players, there's no design to trade him. He actually said that there was a little bit of progress in that there is some dialogue, at least, between him and Vita Vea's agent. So we're going to see where that goes. He tweaked his back, or contractitis, as Adam Schefter calls it, and, he's not practiced. So they're monitoring that. They say they don't want a small thing to become a big thing. I think the big thing is he wants out of here if he can't get his bag. So we'll see how they do this. I don't know why they just don't chip him up for this year a little bit and, get him in the top 10 salary-wise. What's it going to cost them? $5, $6, $7 million and call it a year, and then they can do what they want to next year. And he's a big part of this offense, not just size-wise, but what he means to this franchise. But a little bit of optimism in Jason Light's voice. I don't know if it's real or imagined, but we'll see where it heads.
I think that the fact that they open the season on the road in Jacksonville, then play the next week in Tampa, 2 road games, to me, they might want to go with a veteran to start the season. But, again, it won't surprise me if it's Watson early on and Shador for the bulk of the season. Like, I could see that. We're talking about who wins the starting job, but you also have to ask yourself which of these quarterbacks is going to play the most. Now, if Deshaun Watson comes back and plays well, he's going to keep that job. And if he struggles and they don't win, then you have to go get a long look at Shador to figure out how effective he can be as a starting quarterback in the NFL before a quarterback-heavy draft in which you have 2 number 1. So there's a few different ways to look at this Browns quarterback situation. The small version is like, okay, who's going to start opening day, but who's going to play the most this season? And that wouldn't surprise me if it turns out to be Shador, despite the fact that Deshaun had maybe his best day of camp yesterday with all those touchdown passes and completions.
I like the
Now, Shefty running backs continue to get paid this week. Adam Schefter, what is the latest?
The latest deals for Jonathan Taylor, the Colts running back who officially signed that 2-year, $44 million extension, worked up to $47 this afternoon, with Taylor becoming the latest running back to land a new deal this week following Bijan Robinson in Atlanta. So Bijan Robinson gets paid, Jonathan Taylor gets paid, and now the world waits for Jahmyr Gibbs, the Lions running back who's been staging a hold-in, to get paid. The feeling around the league is this deal should get done relatively soon. The groundwork has been set. There is a roadmap to get there through Bijan Robinson and Jonathan Taylor, and it should only be a matter of time now before the Lions and Gibbs can get their deal done and get Gibbs back on the field. But Jonathan Taylor now secured contractually in Indianapolis for the next 3 seasons.
Is Jonathan Taylor going to have, like, what kind of impact will he have on this Colts offense?
I think this is going to continue to run through Jonathan Taylor. I mean, he rushed for almost 1,500 yards, almost 1,600 yards a season ago, 18 touchdowns. So when you have him in the backfield, it allows and it opens up the rest of this offense. Daniel Jones came in, got paid, and he played really well for them, especially in the beginning of the season. A lot of that had to do with the play-action pass, where he was 6th in the NFL of all quarterbacks with yards and 7 on attempts. What Jonathan Taylor does, running the football, play in and play out, it forces the defense to react, move those guys up. Then the weapons on the outside, a guy like Alec Pierce, you see him streaking down the sideline, catching touchdown passes. That's because of the Jonathan Taylor effect. You look at Alex Warren, Ty Warren, the tight end. He's a guy that impacts that over the middle, RPOs, all of these different things allows Daniel Jones to be as successful as he was a season ago. So getting him locked up for the long term, keeping him happy as all the running backs getting paid is big for Chris Ballard, the general manager in the Indianapolis Colts.
So, you know what my follow-up is going to be right there. Drew Brees, you're throwing with him? Like, what's that? Walk me through that, Tyler. What's going on?
Yeah, I think, that was something, I'd planned, months in advance, even right after the season ended in January. And he was great, just helping set up, the throwing fields, the workout situations, getting us connected with, stuff in San Diego. And fully did not expect him to be there at all, but just kind of the person he is and competitor. He was out there, talking to us, helping us work out and throw. So that's something that we definitely want to do every single year and make a retreat out of it. And, just his knowledge and expertise and what he's been, meant to me and all of Saints fans is just unparalleled. So, he's more deserving of what he's getting soon than anybody. It's been awesome to be able to learn from him.
Dude, you're okay. You buried the lead on me here. You're talking about being a sponge. I mean, what does he tell you? What have you picked up? What are you planning on? I know I'm asking you a million questions at once, but what are you planning on taking from what he's told you and bringing it to the field starting week 1?
Yeah, I got to talk to him last year, even before I came in and was the starter. I was just kind of getting better every single week, playing, and I was like, man, how was your process throughout this time? And he wasn't the Drew Brees that we all know and love at the Saints. He spent quite a few years in San Diego and still battled those first couple of years in New Orleans. So it was great to talk to him about his mindset throughout that time of preparing like you're the guy no matter what, still being a leader, and talking about his everyday routine throughout the season, and also this offseason being able to talk to him about the importance of just bonding together, because everyone's practicing right now. Everyone's watching, a bunch of tape. Everyone's going through all these, grows and learning new offenses and having coaches. And more than anything, it's this time you spend in the offseason and every single day that matters the most, and how you can connect late when we get going.
Look, Woody, expectations might be low in Arizona considering everything that happened in the offseason. But what benefit would the Cardinals have starting Carson Beck at some point this season?
Well, listen, we all know that the Arizona Cardinals are in one of the toughest divisions in football in the NFC West, where you got the Super Bowl champion, the Seattle Seahawks, the 49ers, and the Rams. And so it's going to be tough sledding. And when you're in a division like that, at some point your quarterback is, the guy you drafted in the third round is going to need to be evaluated, because we all know everyone looks towards the draft. So I thought Carson Beck really acquitted himself very well tonight. I mean, you saw them put him in a lot of tough situations. Obviously, the backed up situation where he was on his own 3 and he marched 97 yards for the touchdown. A lot of great throws, a lot of touch throws, and so for his first start, I thought he acquitted himself very well.
Yeah, I got in here to hear the before you went to break and heard the Larry deal, and having played in Minnesota, I know that story.
Please go ahead.
And
go ahead.
But no, I think that, to your point, it's going to be pretty amazing seeing Larry have this jacket put on by Chris, who he used to be the ball boy for the Vikings growing up, and when Chris was playing, and man, it goes to show you just how impactful, any sport is, professional sport, and you see, the influence it has on young guys. And, Larry's sitting there every day. And, of course, his dad covered the team, and so he grew up in it. But, going out there and watching, during camp, watching these guys work, going, I'm going to do that one day. And here he did it. It's not that easy, obviously. But, I just remember watching those guys when I was young playing and going, hey, I want to, not that I don't think when we're young, I don't think anybody strives to be an offensive lineman. When you want to be a quarterback, you want to be, and then we just kind of grow into that position.
Sure.
And then you have an appreciation for it. So, yeah, it's fun. It's fun every time we come back, and when you've gone through it and you're done with it and you're already in, you return as a returning Hall of Famer. The stress, the whole. I always equate it to a wedding, your own wedding. It's like it's for everybody else but you. You're so worried about if grandma's got a ticket and it's her seat and can she get in and how's the hotel rooms. When you come back, it's just like, hey, you just got to relax and see everybody.